So today, me and Cloynes are going to tackle the Lesson 6, the Malolos Constitution. So during the Spanish-American War, Emilio Aguinaldo set up a new government called the Revolutionary Government. This replaced the old government, which was a dictatorship, after just a month. The goal of the revolutionary government was to intensify the fight for independence until the world recognized it. The leader was now called president instead of dictator, a step towards creating a real independent country or a republic. The revolutionary government had 4 departments and a congress to start with. Aguinaldo put together his first team of advisors, or cabinet, on June 15, made it bigger on September 23, and on January 2, 1899, Apolinario Mabini became the Secretary of Foreign Relations and the head of the cabinet. This revolutionary government lasted until January 23, 1899, when the Malolos Constitution was announced, marking the birth of the first Philippine Republic. The 1899 Political Constitution, commonly known as the Malolos Constitution, served as the foundational law of the First Philippine Republic, drafted by Felipe Calderon y Roca and Felipe Boncamino. It was officially enacted on January 21, 1899. This constitution established guidelines for the executive branch, limiting the president's power by requiring legislative approval for key decisions. However, in times of war, the president was granted authority to take necessary actions without prior consent. The Malolos Constitution was written in Spanish and consisted of 101 articles organized into 14 sections. It drew inspiration from several democratic constitutions, including the Spanish Constitution of 1812, and those of Belgium, Mexico, Brazil, Nicaragua, Costa Rica, and Guatemala. A defining principle of the Constitution was that sovereignty resides with the people, emphasizing a government accountable to its citizens. The Malolos Congress, convened on September 15, 1898, played a crucial role in the drafting process. After careful deliberations, the Constitution was approved on January 20, 1899, leading to the formal establishment of the First Philippine Republic the following day, January 21, 1899. The First Philippine Republic was designed to be a popular representative and accountable government. It followed the separation of powers, ensuring checks and balance across 3 branches. Legislative, responsible for making laws. Executive, headed by the President, responsible for implementing laws. Judicial, tasked with interpreting laws and ensuring justice. Additionally, the Constitution established the Permanent Commission, a special legislative body that could make decisions even when the main legislative body was not in session. This ensured that government operations continued smoothly at all times. Before its official implementation, the Malolos Constitution underwent a thorough review by the Malolos Congress from October 25 to November 29, 1898. The goal was to ensure that it truly reflected the aspirations of the Filipino people. Key events during the review process. 1 is Religious Freedom Amendment. A major amendment was introduced, guaranteeing religious freedom, allowing individuals to practice any religion of their choice. This amendment was narrowly approved by a single vote as debates arose regarding its implications. The goal was to ensure that the government remained neutral and did not favor any specific religion. Number 2 is Opposition by Apolinario Mabini. Apolinario Mabini is a respected statesman and legal expert strongly opposed the draft constitution. He believed that during a war, the Congress should act in advisory body to the president rather than focus on writing a constitution. His main concern was that a lengthy legislative process might weaken the government's ability to respond to emergencies during the War of Independence. Number 3 is Proposed Changes by Emilio Aguinaldo. On January 21, 1899, President Emilio Aguinaldo suggested amendments to the draft constitution. These proposed changes aim to grant the president greater authority during wartime to ensure swift decision-making and policy consistency. Aguinaldo believed that temporary executive powers were necessary to strengthen the country's fight for independence and would be revoked once peace was restored. Following these amendments, the Malolos Constitution was ratified and formally promulgated, a critical step in legitimizing its authority. Ratification, the formal approval process that legally confirmed the Constitution. Promulgation, the official announcement of the Constitution ensuring its broad dissemination and implementation. With this, the First Philippine Republic was officially established, marking a historic milestone in the nation's struggle for self-governance.
The aftermath and legacy. The Philippine-American War in 1899 to 1902 was a fight for independence against U.S. rule despite the efforts of Emilio Aguinaldo and the Filipino forces. The American, with better weapons and training, won the key battles, including the First and the Second Battles of Manila. With the capture of Malolos in 1899 and Aguinaldo in 1901, Filipino resistance weakened. The war officially ended in 1902 when General Miguel Malvar surrendered. Although the U.S. controlled the Philippines, Filipinos continued to struggle and finally gained independence in 1946. This war symbolizes the Filipino people's bravery and determination to achieve freedom. The transition to American constitutionalism. After the war, the United States created laws to govern the Philippines, starting with the Philippine Organic Act of 1902. Later, the Tidings-McDuffie Act of 1934 allowed the drafting of the 1935 Constitution, which shaped the Commonwealth of the Philippines. Unlike the Malolos Constitution, which was influenced by the Spanish laws, later the Philippine constitutions followed the American principles, such as the separation of powers and a Bill of Rights. Today, the original Malolos Constitution is preserved in the Batasang Pambansa complex as an important part of the Philippine history.
So here are the summary of the 1899 Constitution of the Republic of the Philippines by Malolos Convention by its titles. Title number 1, The Republic, declared Philippine independence. Title number 2, The Government, established the executive, legislative, and judicial branches. Title number 3, The Religion, guaranteed religious freedom and church-state separation. Title number 4, The Filipinos, ensured the equality, free speech, and legal protection. Title number 5, Legislative Power, created the National Assembly. Title number 6, The Permanent Commission, functioned when Assembly was adjourned. Title number 7, The Executive Power, defined the President's authority. Title number 8, The President, outlined the election, duties, and power of the President. Title number 9, The Government Secretaries, defined their roles and responsibilities. Title number 10, The Judicial Power, established the Supreme Court and lower courts. Title number 11, The Local Assemblies, set rules for provincial and municipal governance. Title number 12, The State Administration, covered budget, finance, and management. Title number 13, Amending the Constitution, provided the process for changes. Title number 14, The Constitution, Oath, and Language, addressed the constitutional observance, oath-taking, and language use. So the source analysis of the Malolos Constitution. The first basic parts of source analysis is the origin. Who created the information? What kind of information is this historical source? So the Malolos Constitution was crafted by the Malolos Congress, a group of Filipino representatives. The main architect of the Constitution was Felipe Calderon. With the assistance of Cayetano Arellano, this document is a constitution which serves as a fundamental law of state. The next one is the context. When was information created? What important event happened at the time the information was created? What is the perspective of this information? The Constitution was proclaimed on January 21, 1899. It was a time of revolution against Spanish rule and the birth of the First Philippine Republic. The Constitution reflects the aspiration of the Filipinos revolutionaries who wanted a democratic, representative, and accountable government. The audience. Who are the intended people the information was originally created for? The Constitution was intended for the Filipino people. It established their political identity and defined their rights. Next one is the motive. What is the purpose of creating the information? The Constitution was created to lay down the foundation of a democratic republican government with three branches: the executive, legislative, and the judicial. It aimed to ensure justice, defense, welfare, and liberty for the Filipino people. So the next one is the importance or relevance of the information. What information or message are directly stated or conveyed within the source itself? What underlying or inferred message, ideas, or implication can be inferred or deduced from the content of the source? How is this information related to the other events that happened in about the same time? How did this information corroborate or contradict related sources? The Constitution explicitly states the establishment of the Philippine Republic, the structure of its government, and the rights and freedom of its citizens. It implies the Filipinos' desire for independence and self-governance, and the separation of church and state. This constitution is part of the larger context of decolonization and independence movements in Asia during that period. It supports other sources that discuss the Philippine Revolution and establishment of the First Philippine Republic, but may contradict sources from the Spanish or American perspectives. The last one is the biases. What biases or perspective might be present in the source which can influence the content or interpretation of the information provided? The Constitution was created by Filipino revolutionaries, thus carries a nationalist perspective and underlying anti-colonial sentiment, reflecting the revolutionary ideals of the time.
The lesson reflection. The establishment of the Malolos Constitution and the First Philippine Republic is a lesson of struggle for freedom and the importance of self-governance. This historical event can serve as a reference especially for learners as they strive for personal independence while considering the importance of rules. The Malolos Constitution demonstrates how rules can guide decision-making and promote personal growth. Challenges faced by the First Philippine Republic, such as making quick decisions during emergencies, mirror challenges encountered in personal lives. The Constitution highlights the importance of adaptability and resilience during tough times, skills needed in life. It also underscores religious freedom and equal rights, serving as a reminder to respect diversity and uphold equality. The wisdom derived from the Malolos Constitution transcends politics and history, offering timeless insights applicable to various aspects of life.